Well, Attorney General Eric Holder today announced the launch of the Justice Department's probe into police practices in Ferguson, Missouri. The inquiry, it is separate from the Fed civil rights investigation, the police-related death of unarmed black teen Michael Brown. Now, the probe is going to take a much closer look at the department's practices over the years, including use of force, patterns of stop and arrest, and it'll also investigate how they actually do the officer training. However, much closer to home, a rally demanding justice when it comes to police brutality cases, it was held today. Westchester police reform groups and family members of those who have died at the hands of police, they gathered in Manhattan to demand accountability for their loved ones' killings. Samantha Liebman has more.
Kenneth Chamberlain Jr. says White Plains police wrongfully shot his 68-year-old father, Kenneth Sr., a veteran and retired corrections officer. He wouldn't let police in his apartment after they responded to an accidental call from his medical alert necklace. The incident was recorded by the necklace.
They're trying to take the gauges off the door.
They mocked him, they taunted him, they used expletives and racial slurs. They eventually took the door off its hinges, fired an electronic taser at him, beanbag shotgun several times, and then live ammunition.
Police say he attacked them with a knife. A grand jury found the 2011 shooting was justified, but those protesting outside the U.S. Attorney's office in Lower Manhattan Thursday say this case, as well as the police shooting death of Pace student DJ Henry in 2010, are examples of why the Justice Department should investigate police-involved shootings.
And the DA's office are too close with the police departments. How can they investigate a police department that they use to solve cases?
For its part, the DA's office told FiOS one it thoroughly investigated the cases, bringing them to grand juries, and with no indictments, they turned over all the evidence to the Department of Justice. But getting the U.S. Attorney to act is a struggle, according to Constance Malcolm, the mother of Bramarley Graham, shot by police in his own Bronx home in 2012. The officer involved was indicted, although it was later thrown out on a technicality.
And I'm sitting here still fighting 2 years later just for the DOJ to come in and investigate when they've been saying for a whole year we've been reviewing.
These groups say there are several Ferguson-style incidents in Westchester County alone each year, and not only would they like to see the Justice Department get involved, they'd also like to see the state set up an independent investigator for these incidents.
Quite often we have civilian complaint review boards, but there's very little, there are no teeth, or the people on that board are appointed basically by the police.
So far, there is no legislation yet to create an independent investigator. Meanwhile, the U.S. Attorney's Office declined to comment for this story. In Lower Manhattan, I'm Samantha Liebman for RFL.
All right, Samantha, thank you. You guys think that out of this, out of Missouri, out of Staten Island, out of the attention we're seeing for a lot of these cases, something changes? Or is this a media spotlight now and maybe for the next few months, and then next year there'll be another incident, we'll have the same conversation? You think things substantially change, whether they be on the training aspect, the police body cams make a material difference? Anything really changes?
Only thing you're going to see change, cameras. They're experimenting in the NYPD, but otherwise there'll be no changes. Absolutely none.
It's too soon to tell. Mr. Cynical here.
Absolutely none.
It's too soon to tell. The issue that this uncovered is the militarization of American police forces.
Yep.
And one of the things that this ought to be is an issue in the governor's race. Which New York State police forces have been armed by the United States Army?
All of them.
No, we don't know.
I mean, all of them.
You don't know.
They've been dispersed all across the state.
You don't know that. What plans are there for using these?
That's the question.
Who's training them? Who implements them? When are those are the questions that can get looked at, and if they are looked at, the American people, the people of the state, will not stand for the translation of the police into soldiers.
What do you think?
I want to see if this translates into political movement. You're starting to see Democrats who are campaigning or using Ferguson to try to motivate the black vote. If they can do that and it actually makes political change this season,
and there's turnout.
I think it's right. Well, one hopefully leads to the other. I think that's got a possibility of seeing substantive change. Otherwise, I think it's going to take some time. Either way, it's going to happen again.
Unfortunately, I think Andrew's right. Gentlemen, thank you. When we come back, we will hear from a friend of slain journalist James Foley, who speaks about the last moments that they spent together overseas before Foley's disappearance. And he also shares how he felt after learning of his good friend's death. We'll be right back.